Hello, and this is Delia again. And I have another little story in our Princess Big Book of Stories and Fun. Are you excited, Scarlett, for the Princess book? Are you happy and excited? Are you excited about your new book that we're going to read? Okay. Princess Big Book of Stories and Fun. Now, we've already read the Ariel and the Christmas lights. The ghost lights, I mean. So tonight we're going to read Sweet Dreams at Last. Look at that. Sweet Dreams at Last. It was a bright, sunny morning. Everyone in the royal castle was wide awake and ready to begin a brand new day. Everyone, that is, except Princess Ariel. Ever since she had become a human, Ariel had trouble falling asleep at night. Yawning and yawning, Ariel made her way to the balcony for breakfast. But as soon as she sat down, her eyes began to close, and plop, her head drooped into her oatmeal bowl. Ariel jolted awake. "Not again," she groaned. During the day, an exhausted Ariel had been falling asleep in the most unusual places. In the royal garden, in a rowboat, even on the beach. But at night, Ariel tossed and turned. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't fall asleep in her own bed. Look, she liked going to sleep by the well. Look, by the wishing well. See her by the wishing well? Everyone had tried to help. Grimsby fluffed her pillows until they were as tight, as fluffy as clouds. "There," he declared. "Lay your head down on this, Your Highness, and see if you don't fall asleep right away." Ariel climbed into the cozy bed, but still didn't fall asleep. Eric suggested reading before bed, since it had always helped him sleep. So Ariel collected stacks and stacks of books from the palace library and carried them up to her bedroom. By the next morning, she had learned all about gardening, knitting, and building, and complicated sandcastles, but she still hadn't slept a wink. Even Flounder had an idea for Ariel. "Have you tried counting dolphins?" he asked the next day when she went to visit him. "No, but I'll try that tonight," Ariel replied. Later, she counted an ocean's worth of dolphins, and fish, and crabs, and whales. But instead of sleeping, Ariel just felt homesick. "I wish there was some way we could help Ariel sleep better," Prince Eric said to himself the next morning at breakfast. Sebastian shook his head sadly. She never had trouble falling asleep back in Atlantica, he thought. Perhaps if her new bedroom were more like her old one, Ariel's problem would be solved. That gave Sebastian an idea. Suddenly he knew just what he would do. She's missing home, isn't she? That afternoon, Prince Eric suggested that he and Ariel go out on his boat for a long, relaxing sail. "Oh, that sounds wonderful," Ariel agreed. The royal schooner was readied and the anchor was raised. Before they even cast off, Ariel began to yawn. "Where shall we sail, my dear?" Eric asked. "Ariel? Ariel." But when Eric turned to see her, she was already fallen asleep on some coils of rigging rope. So she's sleeping in the day, and at night she can't sleep. By the time Ariel and Eric returned to the castle, the sun was beginning to set, and Ariel was well rested from her long afternoon nap. As they walked up the palace steps, Ariel spotted Sebastian with a man carrying a large trunk. "Hello, Sebastian," Ariel called to her little friend. "Won't you have dinner with us tonight?" I'm afraid I can't, Your Highness," Sebastian said. "I have some important work to do this evening, before it's time to go to sleep." At last, the sky filled with twinkling stars, and it was time to say goodnight. Ariel climbed the stairs and reached her bedroom just as Sebastian was tiptoeing out. He bowed and eagerly held open the door for the princes. "Surprise!" shouted Sebastian. "My things!" cried Ariel. Everywhere Ariel looked, she saw something from her old undersea room, a bouquet of deep sea blossoms, her mother of pearl comb, her treasured music box. How did they all get here? I thought having them nearby might help you sleep better. Your Highness, Sebastian said with a smile. Oh, thank you, Ariel said happily. Yay. So he got all kinds of stuff from her old room and brought it to the castle. Ariel said goodnight to Sebastian and snuggled into bed. Sebastian waited an hour and peeked into Ariel's room to make sure she was asleep. But when he opened the door, Sebastian found Ariel sitting up in bed wide awake. She still couldn't fall asleep. I guess missing my things wasn't the problem after all, Ariel said with a sigh. Being a human is harder than I thought. There's one more thing we can try, Sebastian said, climbing up to the music box. He opened the lid and waited for it to play a slow, sweet tune. Aha, he said, spotting the problem. Oh, there's one more thing we can try, Sebastian said, climbing up to the music box. He opened the lid and waited for it to play a slow, sweet tune, but nothing happened. Sebastian looked inside. Aha, he said, pointing and spotting the problem, a big, lumpy pink shell. He moved to toss it aside, but Ariel quickly took it from his claws. Ariel smiled as she held the shell up to her ear and heard the ocean waves. The sea, she sighed. Then Ariel yawned. I'm feeling really sleepy. Maybe I'll just... Oh, she snuggled beneath the covers, this time with the shell pressed gently against her ear. And before Sebastian could even leave the room, Ariel was fast asleep. Sebastian tiptoed out of her room. Good night, princess, he whispered, and sweet dreams to you at last. Aw, that was sweet. And that was another story from the Princess Book of Stories and Fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. Did you like it, Scarlett? Did you like it? That Sebastian helped Ariel with things from her old room and brought them to the castle? Wasn't that nice? And she was able to hear the sound of the ocean through the nice seashell. And that made her feel home, like she was at home. And so she was able to sleep. I hope you all enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and there will be more coming soon. Take care.